So in this video, I'm narrating a video that Mr. Howard at Meadowdale Middle School made to help you get through keychains. And one reason I'm doing it this way is that you can, after this is done, you can then translate it if you need to in another language. So when you open up TinkerCAD, you notice you get this plane. This is actually a sheet that we're going to go through and show you how to do things. But up in the top, it's going to have some random name up here, and you need to rename that to whatever your project is. So keychain would be the good start, and then your complete name, and then followed by your class period. And those kind of things will help you and I find your files when we need to actually print these. So first, put out in front that it's a keychain, so that other 3D projects will have another name in front, and they'll all get grouped together when we put all these together, because it'll be a really big file. All right. So he's just, yep. Okay, next thing. I want to talk to you about the mouse. A lot of you have chosen so far not to use the mouse. I recommend you use the mouse. Actually, I'm going to insist that you use a mouse. The mouse skills are really important to develop, and this is a really nice way to develop how understanding what the right click, left click, and the scroll button all do for you in this program, and getting used to that kind of functionality. I have plenty of them for you to use. You're also welcome to go and borrow or get one of your own and use that yourself if you like it better. Okay, so let's review. So the left click is a select tool. So I click and I drag, and I can pick up a whole bunch of different objects that I want to work with. The right click will allow you to orbit around and see your creations in different places. And the scroll wheel will zoom in and out. Now the scroll wheel has another function that if you click on it, it will allow you to pan from different side to side, up and down, and so forth. So again, these different moves. Right click, select, left click, orbit, scroll wheel, forward and backward, and then click on it. It'll pan around. You also don't forget that you have some tools over on this side. So you can click on this square. You can click and see directly on top. You can click aside and see on the right side. You can click underneath and see what's going on underneath it. Very handy to get yourself reoriented or to see what you need to see. The home button will bring you straight back into the center. You can click home and it'll bring you straight back there. The view, that will get you straight into something you're really interested in looking at directly. And you have plus minus zooms. Remember, on this side, you get different types of objects that you can select. You can look for groups of different types of objects. You can make them favorites by clicking on that star. You can click on characters and find little things that you can use to build what you're wanting to do. You can click on a shape generator. I saw that some of you had found that in the last assignment. Lots of different things, so definitely click around and explore to see what you can actually do with this program, because it's got a lot of things you can do. And for the most part, though, we're going to use basic shapes for this assignment. So let's take a look at some of these example keychains and what each one of them, some ideas that you might like to use. So we'll look at this orange one for the first one. What we're pointing out here is that there are different elements in this. So Howard is actually raised above the base of the keychain, but the word stem is actually cut through. And you can see that because it's blue on that side. And if you flip to underneath that object, you can see that it's been cut all the way through. You can see that after you've grouped it. So the next one over that says dad is actually a different type of character. It's actually a mustache character. So you don't have to use a shape to outline your keychain. You can make a different, maybe a character or something. This next one is just kind of an example of a, a, a name tag for a pet, maybe Fluffy the cat. And then in different styles you can use that. And then this one actually is kind of beveled and raised. You can really design whatever you want. So we're going to go through and design the stem Howard one because there's a lot of stuff going on in there that you might want to use. Remember, these can be for you or a gift. Really, whatever you want. Okay. I'm going to pull that over onto the plane so we can replicate that, but you can just watch the video again. Remember, you can always stop, pause, rewind. We're going to teach some different skills so you can do this yourself. So first thing is we're going to use a rounded shape, which is actually a cylinder for the base. Okay, let's grab the cylinder and pull it into our workspace. And as soon as we do this, you see we get this menu. And one of the things that for this type of keychain we're going to look at is the sides. So right now it's showing 20 sides. As you increase the number of sides, it becomes much smoother cylinder. But if you drop it, then you can see that you get some edges, some edging there. So a little bit of design decisions to make there. Now you can change the bevel, which kind of rounds those corners, which is kind of a neat view. And you can decide, and then segments. Segments doesn't do a lot, but the beveling is kind of cool. So adjust as you will. So in this keychain, he changed it to round and just a little bevel. So now we're going to show you how to do the size. So remember that ruler? You got drag that on. Get in the habit of doing that because it automatically brings out all the different dimensions and it makes things a lot easier than trying to figure out which one of those little squares to click on. So his rules are 60 by 60. You can follow mine as well. But now you can go in here. We're going to go in there and click that and change that to 60. And we'll click the other one and change that to 60. Now 60 by 60 makes it a perfect circle, which is really nice. And then 3 millimeters tall. So change the 20 to 3. Yep, 3 millimeters. Good deal. 3 millimeters, and that's going to be that height. You can always watch the arrows. That's really how to read these things is really handy. So this makes a nice rounded shape. If you don't like that, try another shape. Like the square would work. Hexagon works really nice. Keeps everything on the plane and flat. You can try all those different shapes. You can even look at that, change the size and get it down to a triangle. Look at that. Polygons. Nice. Okay, delete that, going back to the other one. All right, zooming in, and now we're going to put some text on here. So let's click on the side there on the menu and find text. Click that. Drag some text over. You can leave it off the plane. That's fine. You can then, under text, you can change whatever you want to type in there. Your pet's name, whatever your vision is for making that keychain. This happens to be Mr. Howard's daughter's name. And it's too big to fit on there, so we have to scale it down. We can do that by dragging those contact points. So you can click that one corner and you notice that it changes the shape. You can also click the shift key and it will keep the same scaling while you click that square and drag things around. And then you can position however you want. So I'll put that there. Now you can move things around, and we'll demonstrate that. You can click on the circle and just use the arrow keys. So, or the mouse, I can drag it around with the mouse, or I can use the arrow key and go right arrow key, front down arrow key, up arrow key, or so forth. And that's where I want it at this point. I also can lift it up. So you need to hold the control key and the up arrow, or the control key and the down arrow, and that will move it up and down. But right now we have where that is now off the plane and it needs to be flat. So a good way to do that, to lay it flat on the work plane, is to just click the D button. D is for drop, and it'll make sure that's absolutely flat on the work plane. So now I want this, it's a little too high, so I'm going to reduce the height of this. So we can do that by just choosing a new measurement, like 3 millimeters is a nice number. Type in 3. And then we're going to position it where we want. And then it needs to set on top of that. So we can do that shift down arrow. But we want to make sure that it is actually embedded into the piece below it, or the 3D printer won't print it. It'll print it sometimes, but it'll just print on the surface and it all fall off. So you want to make sure that your things that you're going to raise are actually inside and embedded into the platform, that base. So you can actually see how it drops in and embeds in. And now you can just move it around where you want it, but it'll be embedded into the bottom there. So now we've got that set. So we now need a hole. So any shape can be a hole, but there actually is a shape in here that's a hole. So we can grab this cylinder here, and we can pull it out, and those gray stripes automatically means that it's a hole, so we don't have to worry about selecting it as a hole. And then we want to get it to the correct size, which is in my notes. And it's the same as Mr. Howard's. It's 4 by 4 millimeters. So we change one edge to 4, the other edge to 4, and now we can just drag it and place it where it needs to go in the keychain we're building. And you can zoom in, you can use the top button there to get it exactly where you want. You don't want it too close to the edge, you don't want it too far from the edge. Too close will cause it to be fragile. Too far, you won't get your keychain ring in that to work. So now we have it where it wants it. We want it, but it's just on the surface of the bottom, and we want that hole to go all the way through. So we actually have to make the cylinder punch through below the plane. And so again, we can use that control and then the down arrow and bring that down. And then when we take a look, you can see that that hole is all the way through, and it will punch a hole through that when you print it. So in order to get this to punch through, we have to select everything. So that's that right click and drag. And then we're going to go up to here where it says group, and we're just going to select group. And now everything here is going to change now. And you can see that there's actually a hole through the bottom of that. So that's how you get the holes to work. Now, everything is the same color, but if you wanted to actually see the different components like the one on the left, then you would go to solid and then choose multicolor. And it'll show you the different parts in your project. Now, remember, it will only print one color, but at least during your design, you can really see. what's going on with that. So for example, this example keychain was then printed on a 3D printer that had white filament in it. So we've left the colors just so we can see the different pieces and parts, but the printers only print in one color. So it's whichever printer you choose to print your project on. So right now this is a very simple keychain. So you might want to consider adding something else. So you can select any of these shapes, or for example, this video, we select a heart. So we want to make this a little smaller, so you can go shift drag, or you can go shift drag the other direction and get it a little bigger. And then, no, we don't want to change that. Nope, that's too small. Nope. We want to go, actually, we're trying to do, well, you can click the reverse arrow there. We want to change the thickness to, again, 3 millimeters. That's a really good size for this project, especially when the base is 3 millimeters. And now you can click and drag that over, and oops, still too big. So shift, drag. This helps you keep the shape of it all. Oh, and now it's submerged. So you raise it up to embed it there. And you can see that it's not poking out the bottom, which is great. Again, you want it to embed your objects into the body of the base so that everything is attached and printed. So if you wanted to, you could take it from this point and instead change it to a hole just by going from with this menu here and selecting the stripes. And then you can decide whether or not you want it to go all the way through. If you did want it to go all the way through, be careful how you drag it, but you just have to increase the size. So again, like the keychain hole, that when you put it in there and then you do that, drop it down through, that it actually goes through. Don't have to worry how far it drops down. Just need to worry that once you have it in there, we're going to select it all and group it. And then you can see that it goes all the way through. Oh, cool. You can see the sky blue of the platform. Or you could always remove it and try something else because you have those back buttons. So if we did that and we didn't punch it all the way through, then we could group it, and you can see that it just kind of leaves a indentation or a hole, not a hole, but just kind of an indentation. And we can zoom in and see it's going to be kind of just, kind of carved out. So that is how to make a keychain. And with these basic steps, I'm hoping you can see how many other things you can make with it. So reversing it up. Yeah, lots of different things you can do. So from this point, I will then go through and show you how to print it on one of the 3D printers when you're ready. And we'll go from there. Happy creating!